truly believe I am the baddest alive. And you should think that about yourself too. I kind of set myself up with that intro. It was a little audacious, somewhat bold, but that was intentional because I feel like I turned 26 and reached a level of self actualization. Call me Gandhi if he's even a self actualized person, but reached a level of self awareness where I truly think that confidence is the key to everything. So I've been thinking about confidence for a while. This definitely is not a new topic for me. I've spoken about it on the podcast Third Party that I host my sisters, but I really felt compelled to make this episode because I'm starting to see it through a whole new lens. And a visit from one of our friends a couple weeks ago really kind of sparked a further analysis on my view of confidence. So basically, we were reflecting on high school because this friend has known me through so many phases of life, middle school, high school, when I was deep in the trenches. And during this conversation, I said, nowadays I walk into a room thinking I'm the baddest one here. Her immediate reaction was like, what? I never think I'm better than anyone. Like, oh my gosh, like pearl clutching. And let me admit, the wording probably wasn't the best. Baddest can insinuate better than or some sort of leveling. There was some context missing from the conversation, which is going to be too hard to explain. I'm basically was speaking about my personal transformation and kind of talking about how I feel when I enter rooms with people who I felt like made me feel small in the past, but that's neither here nor there. I'm jumping back in because I want to be perfectly clear. I denounce, you could say, the word baddest. It was just natural conversation. I wouldn't say I'm bad. Like that just doesn't roll off the tongue for me. So baddest was how it landed. Probably not the best delivery. I was trying to say that nowadays, when I enter a space, I have flipped my mindset. Like, I instinctively now in my head tell myself, I'm super cool and I'm excited to meet other super cool people. Even if I am so intimidated by the room that I'm entering, I now really hype myself up and in the back of my mind, remind myself who I am. Because, in my opinion, what makes you cool and what makes you great are just internal qualities. And we know this, even if the world doesn't necessarily always recognize this, when you remind yourself of it, it exudes. And I think that can make a big difference in how other people perceive you too. So it's a ripple effect. You tell yourself that, you start to believe it, it's emitted and put out into the world, and then other people see it, believe it too. And I'm just trying to make the argument in this episode that we all need to remember that we're in competition with ourselves. So there's no leveling, but you can be the top of the totem pole in the competition of your own personal life. You can be the best you possible. So this is me doubling down on that because I think this mindset can open doors and set you free. I think it's easy to say that society has a problem with confidence, specifically vocalized and loud confidence. And I used to not think this, but in light of recent examples, I feel like it's pretty clear. First things that come to mind, Timothy Chalamet saying he wants to be the greatest, Whitney Levitt on Z-Way's podcast saying she always wanted to be famous, Issa Rae telling Zendaya, how hard is it not to think these girls aren't even close or something like that. There are so many examples of people speaking about themselves authoritatively and confidently that people have problems with. I even saw a video of Tyla looking amazing, but she always looks good these days. I mean, just in general, not just these days, but always looks good. And she's just walking, okay? Living her life, doing her thing. People are taking photos of her. Of course they are. And the comments are filled with, ooh, she loves the attention. She loves the spotlight. Like, girl, I would too. I would love the camera. So it's really interesting that this type of outward expression of confidence seems like it causes a lot of criticism. I think people who are threatened by others being vocal about their confidence or their audacity to believe that they are good or can achieve something are actually threatened by how it makes them feel about themselves and their lack of that, especially when they don't think this person's level of confidence is warranted. Like, how could she ever think that way about herself? Like, she's not all that. Things of that nature. And I do think that comes from an insecure place. And of course, there is a fine line between confidence and ego. That is no question. And I think this line does become blurred in a lot of different scenarios, especially when it comes to social media and kind of showcasing your accomplishments and come off as boisterous. There's just an energy that goes along with it. Are you doing this for attention and validation from other people? Are you trying to promote the message that no one can get like me, no one can be on my level? Or are you simply just posting pictures because you liked it? Are you simply just walking around with this mindset and embodying who you truly know you are and doing it without any need for recognition? The intention matters, but I do think society seems to still confuse the two. We need to accept that different kinds of confidence can exist. Some is loud, others are quiet. There are so many ways to be a confident person. You don't have to take up the entire room to be confident. You don't need a social media presence to be confident. But if you are proclaiming something that you want or talking about yourself, that doesn't mean that you're boisterous either. I think it takes a social competency as well as reading the room to really understand and delineate between ego and confidence. But there is nothing wrong with embodying and having loud confidence too, because confidence does not mean superiority at all. Of course, there are limits. If you have to proclaim your greatness and shout from the rooftops about how amazing and special you are, then it's not just obnoxious, but also seems disingenuous. Like, who are you trying to convince? Us or yourself? I feel like we've all experienced where people say things like, I'm such a kind person. I even see people say things like, I'm hot, like young, hot girl. Anytime somebody throws out these types of bold, vivid statements, it kind of does give me pause because I'm just like, do you actually think this way about yourself? It's all about reading the room, and comments like that usually miss the mark. So, with that being said, I completely understand how comments like, I'm the baddest one here, when I walk into a room, I think that about myself, which I don't think that about myself, but you'll understand throughout the episode, okay? Like, I'm giving disclaimer after disclaimer after disclaimer. I understand how my friend could have interpreted that as very egotistical and it wouldn't have sat right with her. You got to know your audience, okay? Some people, they speak in very loud, colorful words and they'd be like, yeah, but I completely understand that. And I could see how, in the context of the conversation, it could come off as overcompensation and even like, oh, you felt small, belittled in the past. So this is you overcompensating now. Regardless, I still think there is a place to speak extremely highly of yourself. And I think most people should maybe not speak it, but they should think it 100%. And if you do believe this, that doesn't mean you have an ego. There is no competition. And if your confidence only exists in context to other people, then you don't have confidence because confidence should exist in isolation. It's only about you and how you think about yourself and carry yourself. I feel like I'm just giving a bunch of disclaimers. If you're on the same wavelength, you'll know. The girls that get it. So let's just get back to the episode. And if you guys hate those statements, like if you hate Issa Rae telling Zendaya they aren't even close, then you would hate the music I listen to. Because my pump up playlist, first of all, is elite. I love it. Second, the lyrics are very bold and very loud. For example, the song I'm listening to right now, or that has been on rotation, but my go to for a couple weeks now, is Hoes Be Mad by Bunna B and Cash Cobain. I'll own it. I love that song. Like, it really gets me going, honestly. And I can't read to the lyrics because it's filled with a lot of expletives, but one of the lines is they want to compare but can't compete. Now, me personally, I'm not offended by those statements because if someone's saying that about themselves, I don't really think the universal they is referring to me. Like, someone could be saying that and I will be like, yeah, yeah, hyping you up. But I do feel like people get upset about things like that. I just don't take those statements to heart and think a little hype up doesn't hurt anybody. So, no more pearl clutching. I feel like it doesn't do you any good. Not everyone has to show up in the same way, but I do think everyone can benefit from a little gravitas, self assurance, pride. It will make a big difference in your life. And I think people can characterize it as egotistical or even delusional, but there is a level of pride and self assurance required for success. Like, you think LeBron James is getting in the court and saying, oh, I'm not the best. Actually, we don't even have to use LeBron. Let's use anyone in the NBA because they are incredible players, better than most of the people playing basketball in the world, like best athletes in the world. You think they're getting on that court saying, oh no, LeBron's so much better than me. Let me not say that I can do this. Let me not be confident. Let me not say I'm the best. No. Like, what? They're going to still say, I'm the best. I got this. LeBron James referring to himself as King James. Maybe it's a level of confidence that I wouldn't have. Maybe it's a little bit too much for me. But yeah, you think these players are over there questioning themselves? No, they get their head in the game, they hype themselves up, they know what they can do, and they're gonna take it to the court and leave it on the court. Same with an Addison Rae. Like, I'm not even the biggest fan of her music, but you can't deny this girl did what she wanted to do. You think she was thinking to herself, oh no, I'm just a TikToker. Let me not say in my songs, you just want to scream my name, I'm living that life. Let me not say in my music, I'm going to go down in history, I'm going to make it. People will think I have an ego. Womp, womp. No. She said it, and she said it loudly, and she said it proudly. Whether you think she's deserving of a Grammy nomination or not, she got that Grammy nom. So, what I'm saying is, you got to have that level of assurance to make it, and not even to make it in a professional sense, but even when it comes to having relationships with people, because you are not settling for people who aren't going to support you. You are engaging in things you want to engage in because you are confident in yourself. So, everyone needs to have a little bit of that. And it's not that they're acting better than you. We don't need to take this stuff personally. It's just their way of feeling like their best selves. So, however that looks for you is what I encourage you to do. But don't ever think, oh, they're going to think I have an ego. They're going to think I'm not worthy of this. Let me not say this about myself. No, because other people's opinions are completely irrelevant. So they aren't questioning it. They are going for it, verbalizing it, and making it a reality, because that's literally what it takes. They're owning their truth, whether you see it or not. And apparently, that's all that matters. That's the prerequisite for success. The problem comes when you affirm your place in society through comparison. When you think to yourself, oh, how is she getting that? Or that was so unoriginal. How is that getting greenlit? Or how is she a fashion influencer? She doesn't even have good style. I'm getting vulnerable here because these are unfortunately all thoughts that I've had. And I have realized, and I recognize it as I'm saying this right now, that the reasons I would even say these things is to make myself feel better. And I want us all to know that it's never the path. It is never beneficial. And we know this, but yet we still go back and default to these negative thoughts, the need to tear someone else down to feel better about ourselves. Whether we think it's true or not, whether I think this person's style is good or not, it resonates with somebody else. And that's all that matters for their job. So stop wasting time even thinking about what someone else has going on, because judging other people will just drain your own confidence. And I'm not saying this in a way of, oh, only do good things, because if you don't, it will revert negatively on you and you should only care about yourself. Like, obviously, be a good person. It's never positive to say these things and to be rude about other people. But in the context of confidence, it will drain yours. We don't want to drain our confidence by giving any energy into other people in their lives. And we want to, in turn, focus that all on ourselves, the only people we can control. So, to help you do that, here is my guide to confidence. This guide contains no research, solely speaking from the heart. I'm not going to over intellectualize it at all. These are just thoughts that I've come up with this past week. And I want to mention that I'm not going to touch on appearance at all, because we know when you look good, you feel good, you do good. We understand that. That's table stakes. And I feel like there's other ways to up your confidence, because confidence is internal, not external, even though I firmly believe your exterior can play a part. So here's your confidence framework. 1, you will never be anyone but yourself. Let that sink in. Doesn't matter how much you wish at night that you could change bodies. Doesn't matter that you are dreaming and praying to wake up and be somebody different. Learn from experience. You will only ever be you. Some people might hear that and think, well, I'm screwed. I don't possess the traits of that person who's so talented in this, or I'm not as naturally confident as this person. No, that mindset will get you nowhere. You will only ever be you. So optimize yourself and be the best version of yourself that you can be. There definitely are some people who are naturally confident. I can think of a few people who would just walk into a room truly being themselves regardless of the scenario. And that's a level of confidence I did not have. But I do know that confidence can be developed. I personally was not always outwardly expressive. When I was little, I wasn't the person singing at Sunday school. If at all, I was singing very quietly. Like, I was shy in a lot of different environments. Recently, I visited my former figure skating coach, because I figure skated for years growing up, and I went to the rink, and she was basically saying to me, oh my gosh, you used to be so quiet. And I'm just thinking, damn, was I that quiet? I didn't know that. But point being, she recognized a change in me. And while I think that does come with adulthood, she specifically mentioned my talkativeness. And it's just really interesting to know that nothing is permanent and you can change if you want to. At the time, in a lot of these spaces, I wasn't always feeling my most confident. I wasn't very expressive. But one thing I do know, which let me know if this resonates with you, is deep down, I always knew I was iconic. Like, I always knew I was great. Iconic's a strong word. Guys, no more pearl clutching. Don't take that to heart. That's just, I'm throwing words out there, okay? But I always knew that I possessed something that just wasn't being shown outside. Like in my head, even in the worst of worst situations, I never internalized that I was a loser. I never knew that in my core, never believed that. I know what I had to do was bring my inside out. How can I portray how I feel about myself inside externally? Ask yourself, how do you act around your comfort people? How do you act around your family? And if you don't have those comfort people, how do you see yourself in your own head? Like, who is the true you? Because no one knows yourself better than you. So try and find ways to bring that out. The only way to do this, unfortunately, is through trial and error. And it's just by seeding little bits of yourself when you have the opportunity to the point where you get more comfortable living in your truth fully. I even have vivid memories of me doing this in middle school. Like, I remember specifically bringing up this song to a group of girls sitting at my table, and they were not receptive, okay? Like, sometimes you fall flat on your face, but that's how you live and grow. So you got to be willing to bring yourself outside of your shell, push yourself to do that, even in small ways, until you get comfortable with living in your truth. It might feel cringe, might come across as cringe. I don't know. That's not your problem. You're doing this to become a better, stronger, more confident you. So you might fall flat on your face, but you got to keep it pushing. If you find yourself in a situation where you're struggling, remember that pressure can be a privilege. There is so much that can be learned from being knocked down and having to be resilient. Pushing yourself through that will build your confidence. Even just knowing that you had the wherewithal to push yourself through it, even just to wake up the next day without crying. It can be little things, but pressure can build, what is it? Pressure creates diamonds. I don't know. Look that up, fact check me. But you can use pressure to push you. It's not ideal. Nobody wants to be in a difficult situation. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, blah, blah, blah. You want to live an idyllic life, but if you are finding yourself in a tough situation, use it for your betterment, and that can help build your confidence. Accept the reality that you have. Remember that nothing's permanent, and try and find solutions. And that resolve will last a lifetime. So, this kind of brings me to point two. Confidence is built through action. The best way to build your resolve, build your mental confidence, is by earning it. And the way to do this is keeping the promises that you make to yourself, because you are showing yourself that you get things done, that you don't disrespect yourself. You are showing yourself that you are committed to creating the life that you want for yourself, and you honor yourself by doing the things you say you will. Because through repetition and consistent action, you can build a sense of self trust that will reflect from the inside out. Because how can I say I'm great and I love myself when I'm not even respecting myself by doing the things that I need to do and desire for myself? So if you say I have to cook at home 5 days out of the week and only eat out 2 days of the week, then honor yourself by sticking to that. If you're telling yourself I'm going to start saving for a house, start doing that. I need to go to the gym 3 days a week, start doing that. Like, whatever the promise is that you make to yourself, when you follow through with it, you will build a sense of self trust. And no one can take away from you what is earned. So earn your own confidence and earn your own trust. A fundamental belief of mine as well is that no one is better than me and I am better than no one. One of my biggest pet peeves is when someone is trying to kiss up to someone else. There's truly nothing more unattractive in my eyes than a kiss up. It's never fun to be around this person. Like, we all know them. We constantly see them looking for a better plan. They acquiesce to someone that they think can offer them something better. They'll glaze somebody just to get their approval. It's tiring being around these people. And I don't know about you, but when you glaze someone, don't you just feel gross about yourself? Like, don't you just feel bad about yourself? Because why am I pedestaling someone else and at the same time making myself smaller? Like, why am I shrinking myself to make someone feel better about themselves? It's a cycle. And clearly, I feel strongly about this. And it's because as I've entered adulthood, although I've been an adult technically for 8 years now, as I've gone deeper into adulthood, I see that people still do it. And I just will never understand the reason to keep somebody around or to constantly try and be malleable and change myself around somebody so that I can gain someone else's approval. So, other than it being extremely annoying, it really does ding your confidence because you are shrinking yourself and pedestaling someone else. And I think if you do that all the time and live in that mindset, wouldn't you just fully believe that other people are so much better than you? No, no one is better than you, and you're better than no one. Believe that. So don't do it. It's obvious. You know it, they know it, we know it. Just stop. Just be your full self. You don't have to dim yourself in order to have a good relationship with your boss. You don't have to do that in order to get the country club moms to like you and get invited to a country club. No. Own yourself and you probably have a better chance of all of those things. On the topic of people, I want to remind you that there is something so powerful about cutting people off. I'm not saying that one infraction means you got to just remove someone from your life. But what I am saying is you are the company you keep, and you cannot thrive with energy vampires sucking the life out of you. I don't care why you think that these people need to be around you, but respect yourself by cutting people off. Like, let them go. I encourage us all to run a strict program, especially if you're my age. Like, we don't have time for the BS because I think we should learn by now, Like, maybe in high school, no, I was going to say maybe in high school, you can give people a little bit of slack. Maybe in college, you can because that can be a depressing era. You don't want to be alone. But again, I think the most confident people can stand alone if they have to. Run a strict program. Snide remarks, gotta go. You don't support me, you can leave. I don't expect much from you and I kind of dread hanging out with you, but I feel like I need to hold on to you because of history. Nah, you can go too. Like, there's no reason to me to be kind of holding on to dead weight because access to you should be a privilege. So you need to get real with yourself too and ask yourself, why are you keeping these people around? Does it stem from fear of being alone? Do you need social clout? Do you want more access? Do you think they're funny? Whatever it may be, whatever you think the benefit is, remind yourself that you can provide all of that to yourself. You should be your own social clout. You should be the standard. You should be your own caliber. You should be the person that you want to be around. And I think this in turn attracts other people who truly fit with you because you have recognized that you are valuable. So revel in your own greatness. Do the hard part. If there's someone you're thinking about cutting off, just do it because you will feel more free. And I know this might not resonate with everyone because some people have really been taught like this sort of respectability politics that I just don't subscribe to. Like, they're the ones who think you have to be friends with everybody. They grew up never trying to rock the boat, we'll say, by having difficult conversations. No, there is power in doing all of this. There is power in restricting access to yourself. And so while I'm saying this, being raised from a lens of having parents telling me, oh, they're disrespecting you, you can have a conversation, but if that doesn't work, then just let them go. But I think there's benefit for all of us to think like that, to be more truthful in our emotions and have the difficult conversations as well as take the subsequent action when they need to. So then they aren't sucked and bogged down by energy vampires. They aren't feeling the need to kiss up because they feel so good about themselves and are attracting people who also are good and feel good about themselves and will actually respect and care for you and give you the same energy that you give them in return. So that's my soapbox on those things. Moving on to the next. I think confidence grows when you stop biting your tongue. You need to have an opinion and share it. Personally, I find that speaking up reinforces my self worth because in doing that, I trust my own voice and validate my own opinions. You don't need to be an opinionated person to validate your own perspectives and thoughts. I'm saying you should form an opinion, stand strong on it, and actually share it. So if you want to start feeling better about yourself, just start with that. Just start speaking your truth. I feel most empowered when I'm sharing my opinions and sharing my thoughts. Granted, I'm here on a mic sharing my opinions for fun, so clearly there's something to that, but there is benefit for all of us to validate our own thoughts and ideas instead of relying on other people to create them for us or assume. Others will inevitably disagree with some of your thoughts, and that's probably for the best because it'll force you to defend your thoughts and ideas, furthering your exploration and assessments and making you really have to turn inward and think about why you think this way or believe this thing. And it'll give you an opportunity to stand strong in your belief and showcase who you are. Alternatively, you might change your mind, which is also great because it'll open up your perspective to something new and actually expose something about yourself that you didn't even know. So, all in all, it's a win win. Have an opinion, share it, and engage in fruitful discussions. It will reinforce your confidence because you're thinking more about yourself and reflecting on your beliefs. Another way you can grow your confidence is by engaging in the hobbies that speak to you. The feeling I get after creating and planning and recording an episode is like no other. And it really makes me feel proud of myself. Like I did something that I enjoy doing and I put myself out there. And I think you can get that from whatever your hobby is too. Cooking, tennis, pottery, whatever it is, like just knowing that you did something for yourself and it's not necessarily tied to an outcome, it's done for pure enjoyment. And if a positive outcome comes from it, even better. That's great. And I think that's empowering, knowing that you honor your own tastes. So it's the year of the hobbies. Get one outside of work, go meet some new people, indulge in your creativity, be yourself. This one I'm going to keep brief because I made a TikTok on it. I've spoken about it on this podcast. Stop with self deprecation. Don't make any self deprecating comments about yourself, even if it is to appeal to other people through humor. That's just not my bag. It never will be. I think it ultimately just reinforces negative opinions about yourself. And I don't need to do that. I don't need to draw attention to myself negatively. I'm only going to speak about myself positively. And you should too. You don't want to create a consistent negative narrative, and you don't want to give other people the opportunity to do that for you either. So speak positively of yourself. Mentally, don't even think and give space to negative thoughts about yourself. Always try and find the reframe. Final three tips. Confident people are able to applaud others and feel happy for others and their accomplishments. When you're a self assured person, someone else's greatness is not a threat to your own. You're happy for other people and you can also learn from other people. So, along the same vein, confident people are self reflective. They're able to admit when they're wrong. They're able to apologize. They're adaptable. They're able to see other people's perspectives because they know that they are never perfect. They know that they don't know everything, and they are willing to admit when they make mistakes because this gives them the opportunity to better themselves and treat others with the respect that they want to be treated with. So, recognizing your mistakes doesn't mean you're no longer confident and just failed and have messed up because a confident person is supposed to be perfect. Take accountability because I think it shows internal security and emotional maturity that a confident person will possess. And your final tip of the day is that perfection kills confidence. You can be confident and still feel imposter syndrome. You can still feel upset. You can be sad. You can feel deflated. A confident person isn't perfect, but a confident person realizes that these feelings or this worry is temporary. Suppressing emotions to maintain an image is unsustainable and it dims your confidence because when you aren't being perfect, you don't feel like you're as good. There's probably a more eloquent way of saying that, but I think that makes sense to you. You can't seek perfection and you shouldn't have to hide your feelings or emotions. Just trying to understand where they're coming from. So give yourself permission to feel your feelings. Give yourself permission to slip up, to make mistakes, and to release anger. All of that. If you're having an off day, it's just an off day. It's not an off life. Confidence is a state of being and it's not a constant mood. So that's all I've got. Those are my keys to confidence. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.